Good evening, everyone. It is known as one of the most beautiful and livable cities in America. But thanks to the numerous strip joints and massage parlors, Portland, Oregon has also earned the nickname Pornland. And it is also an epicenter for child prostitution. Many of the working girls, some young enough for middle school, are not kidnapped. They're not runaways. They're tricked into walking the streets in exchange for clothing, jewelry, or just human love.
Happening right now, a candlelight vigil at the Oregon Convention Center for children who are missing or who are victims of sex trafficking.
Children, girls as young as 12 and 13, forced into a life of sexual slavery.
We are on Portland's 82nd Avenue. They call it the Track. Police believe there are as many as 100 underage girls here working the streets, the strip clubs.
And now a World News investigation. Very young girls from good families lured into the sex trade. And if we ask you to name a city that's become the hotbed of sex trafficking, chances are you would never have guessed Portland, Oregon.
Police say it's become a tourist attraction.
Portland police say it's happening right here, right now, and the city is becoming notorious for it.
My name is Katie Clifford. I'm a junior at Sherwood High in Sherwood, Oregon. Last summer, I took the opportunity to go to Europe with my school, and I jumped on a plane and left my little town and flew all the way to Milan, Italy to start my journey around the European Mediterranean coast. While in Europe, I met all sorts of new people and ate a ton of gelato. I also walked among the ruins, crashed a wedding, don't worry, the bride was okay with it, and well, jumped for joy. Overall, this trip was an experience I will never forget. However, while I was exploring the towns and coastlines, I was also in search for answers about human trafficking. See, I had found out a few months before my trip that Portland was a hot spot for human trafficking. By attending local Rotary meetings, conferences, and reading the local newspaper, The Oregonian, I realized just how serious this problem was. I always knew this happened in other countries, but the thought that it was happening in my backyard was honestly shocking. I instantly became more passionate about learning all I could and meeting all the people working to stop this cycle, not just locally, but internationally. I figured that I couldn't be the only one in the area without any knowledge of local trafficking, but I was just curious to see what other people knew, so I hit the streets of Portland to find out. Do you know what human trafficking is?
No. 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 No.
I really don't know.
Now that I had a better idea of the local awareness, I decided to do some research on the awareness of the countries I visited on my trip to Europe. Spain really stuck out to me because it had been written that they had a problem, but there really wasn't much information about it. Now, knowing you can Google human trafficking in Portland, Oregon, and instantly have tons of information, videos, and local organizations at your fingertips, but do the same Googling human trafficking in Spain and barely come up with any results, makes you realize that even though we have all the info we need in Portland and our awareness is still pretty low, it's got to be even worse in Spain. I sat up late at night trying to figure out how I could help Spain become more knowledgeable about all these people living there who don't have a free life. And then I remembered something that someone had told me a long time ago. They said, knowledge is contagious and completely necessary in order for change to happen. So I decided to make this video that I could spread and use to raise awareness around the world, hopefully, while also showing people what they can do to make a change. Because, at least for me, just holding this knowledge doesn't sit well with me. I really want to make a change, and I feel like other people might want to as well. So to start my spread of knowledge, I arranged to meet Kate Kimmer, who is fighting against human trafficking by raising awareness and educating others, while also working on setting up a safe house. What are the most important things people should know about human trafficking?
There's a lot of important things people should know about human trafficking. I would say one of the top things that people don't understand about human trafficking is what it even means when somebody says human trafficking. A lot of times people envision something like the movie Taken, where a woman is like abducted and snuck away off to another country and forced to be a prostitute. A lot of times that's simply just not how it happens, and that's not the definition of trafficking within the United States. So when you're looking at trafficking, you're essentially looking at somebody whose body is being sold as a commodity to make money for somebody else, either through force or coercion or in some way against their will, or that individual is under 18.
What has made you so passionate about human trafficking?
So my passion for human trafficking stems from my own experience with sex trafficking victims and living in Thailand. And to make a very long story short, I lived in one of the poorest provinces in Thailand, and I lived in the poorest region of Thailand on the border of Laos and Cambodia. And by the time I was graduating my undergrad, I had lost two of my closest Thai friends to the sex trade. And when I say I lost them to the sex trade, I mean they're dead before they were 22 years old.
What do you find to be in common between your experience internationally and your experience here in Portland?
In common. Okay, so I talked a little bit about this before, namely that in any country, including the United States, a majority of trafficking victims are domestic. They are local. They are from the country. They are from their country of origin, and they're from in the trafficking country. So that was shocking to me to discover that. Actually, when I was doing work with Thai trafficking victims as well with U.S. trafficking victims, I just kind of assumed that it would be easier to force somebody into the sex trade if they didn't speak the local language, if they didn't have some kind of local networking, safe system, whatever, nowhere to go, nobody to talk to, then it would be much easier to control them. But as it turns out, there's a lot of other ways to control human beings, and that I would say is the biggest commonality, is that most countries are trafficking within their own borders. Once you realize that they're human beings, that they're your sisters, they're your friends, they're your mothers, they're your, whatever, then it's going to matter to you too.
Portland, Oregon human trafficking facts. An internet date ad posted by Portland police had over 1,800 hits within 24 hours. While Seattle has 4 strip clubs and Dallas has 3, another hub for human trafficking, Portland has over 100 within the city limits. 1/3 of homeless women and children are solicited by a pimp within 48 hours of being on the streets. One reason Portland is such a popular place for human trafficking is because 2 interstates run through it, and its international and national borders. USA human trafficking facts. There are more slaves now than there were during the Civil War. 300,000 children are currently at risk for sexual exploitation. Major sporting events such as the Super Bowl are very popular places for human trafficking. In just one day, a victim is forced to have 7 or more dates. The life expectancy of a child prostitute after they start being trafficked is 7 years. Spain human trafficking facts. August 10, 2013, 51 people were arrested in Spain and 24 people in France who were working for or leading one of the biggest human trafficking rings in the world. In Spain, trafficking is illegal, but prostitution isn't. About 50,000 women and children are victims of human trafficking in Spain. This is becoming a bigger problem in Spain because sex services are a greater demand among tourists. My next and favorite step I like to call hope generating change. Through this whole journey, I've learned about so many people who are doing great things, such as building safe houses, fighting for better laws, and even traveling around the world, literally interrupting this business. But I happened to meet one woman along the way who greatly inspired me because she started with the hope of making all women feel beautiful and connected with other women just like her, and together they started the non-profit Divine Threads. Here's my interview with Tanya as she describes Divine Threads and shows me around their farmhouse.
So the house that you're seeing here is a resource for the community, and we have 3 prongs to this ministry. We have what we do is a makeover night. We also help with job interviewing and searching, helping create resumes. And the third part is mending the soul. So it's small groups that women meet with.
How have you been able to help the people you serve, and can you give me some examples of how you've helped some of the women?
Actually, I actually have an email written from one of our gals that we help. She is a sex traffic survivor, and after her visit, she wrote this email to us. So I'll just give that as an example. She said, "Well, tonight I finally figured out how to duplicate my hair because we had done her hair the style I was given by Divine Threads. I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Tonight it all changed. I was beautiful. I couldn't stop looking at myself. I couldn't go shopping for clothes. I couldn't stand to see myself in the mirror. I actually went shopping for summer clothes. I loved myself. I loved the way I looked. thought I was sexy. My hair was beautiful, my clothes fit, and I was on trend. I made love to my husband for the first time in 18 months. My life, my image, my marriage was saved and transformed. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Wow, that's really, really inspiring. What is the most rewarding part of working with Divine Threads?
Seeing lives change. You know, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well. You know, and just to see some of them laugh, which they haven't laughed in a while, or to see joy and to see themselves as beautiful, because they are. I mean, every woman is, we believe, is created in the image of God, but they have value and have worth.
What are the trends you're seeing in trafficking?
The thing I think is really important is for us to understand that there is a huge need here. You know, the more people that I talk to, they are so unaware that this is an issue here in our backyard. And so I think the trend is that making people aware of what's going on, and to know that women or families can make a difference today in being able to help women come out of that sex trafficking.
In addition to Divine Threads, here are some other organizations locally and internationally that need your help to stop human trafficking. Compassion First, Janus Youth Programs, House of Engedi, Polaris Project, Not for Sale, Shared Hope International, Liberty Asia. I started this project with barely any knowledge on human trafficking and an urge to know how I could help Spain's population become more knowledgeable about this underground trafficking problem. And then I decided the best path to take would be to gain a better knowledge for myself of the problem and figure out just what other people and nonprofit organizations are doing to help combat this problem. So then I would take this newly acquired knowledge and I would use it to show other people, whether it's locally or internationally, like just what's going on and what they could do to help. I've learned so much these past few months traveling and being inspired by people who are so passionate about this cause that I just can't stop here with this video. In the future, I plan on speaking to many businesses, churches, clubs, family, friends, etc. to really raise awareness and get people involved. I also plan on working with multiple nonprofit human trafficking organizations and hopefully to write a bill to the Oregon legislature to hopefully get better laws for the victims of human trafficking. William Wilberforce once said, "You may choose to look the other way, but you can never again say that you did not know." I hope that with this video, people will feel empowered and feel the need to do something about human trafficking, whether it's donating clothes, money, or even starting your own safe house. I also hope that with this video, people will spread the word. So tell your brother, tell your boss, tell your cat. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting the word out. Because remember, knowledge is completely necessary in order for change to happen. Thanks for watching.